Good evening, everyone, to the ones in my time zone. Good morning to the ones in India. Good day to Australia time. Today, I am really excited, to have Michelle Sophia in our group today. Michelle Sophia is an inner transformation facilitator, who works specifically with women who are looking to put a spark, right, in our life. Right? I am so grateful that I met Michelle when I was in California in one of the workshops, and I connected with her. And I remember in one of the evening, we walked out and we had a conversation, and I knew that, we are going to be at some point collaborating. And recently I have seen a lot of sound healing video from her, and I was like, wow, right? And I played it a couple of times, and I found it very, very peaceful. And that's when I requested her that, hey, can you come and talk about what you're doing and share about what you're doing, and teach us some of the tools and techniques. Specifically, a lot of us, we have discussed about how do we get out, right, when we get into that very intense anger situation or anxiety situation. So today, we will learn a little bit about her, but also, she has agreed to share a little bit about the experience of sound, meditation, and lots more. So with that, let's give a warm welcome to Michelle. And I think since we are all virtual, let's clap our hand for her.
I'm so very grateful, Monica. Thank you so much for having me here. And it's such a pleasure and honor to meet each and every one of you. And I'm just amazed by, the virtual world we live in right now, that we could have a few countries here represented all up together at one time. I mean, that's just such a beautiful gift. And I'm very excited to share with you. I wanted to share a little bit about my story, what landed me here in this position, and why I am so passionate about being here and sharing with each of you. And really, my intention as I start this out, my heart space intention is to help as many people as I can to be able to find their own inner peace. Because I truly believe as we each find our inner peace, we'll create world peace. And right now in our world, it is so very needed. So just to give you a little bit about myself, well, first, actually, I want to ask each of you, how many of you want to live, a more peaceful and blissful life? And how many of you might now just be realizing that as I said that? Bringing in peace and bliss. Sometimes we get so caught up in our daily routine and our daily responsibilities and caring for all those that we love that sometimes we forget about ourselves. And in the blink of an eye, we can just be like in a whirlwind and be like, what happened? And, that's why it's so important. I'd like to ask each of you right now, before I even start to share my story, to just take a deep breath with me and let's welcome ourselves to this present moment. So go ahead and just take in a deep breath. So very grateful to be here with all of you. And I'm very honored to share my story. You see, it was about 8 or 10 years ago. I was in a place in life where I think a lot of people might have looked at my life and they might have said, she has the perfect life. She, I had the typical, house with the white picket fence. I had 3 dogs and 3 children, and I didn't have a lot of worries. Everything was going along well. And yet something wasn't right. Something was still missing. And I really wasn't sure what that was. Now in hindsight, looking back, I can sit here and I can explain that in my life back then, I forgot about me. I completely forgot about me. I was what you would call a classic pleaser. That's all I ever wanted to do, was please everybody around me. My Michelle, she didn't matter. It was almost like she didn't exist. It was like, what do you want to eat? What do you need? Where do you want to go? I'll do it all, and I'll do it all for you, because I thought by making everybody else happy that I'd be happy. And truly, there's that part of me that definitely gets very happy by making other people happy. But in the process, I lost myself. And I completely lost myself. And I didn't even realize how much so until, if you could state it this way, I like to, reference God, and whether you want to call him God or Buddha or Jesus or however you reference it is just fine. But I felt a hand come down and really reach out to me, because see, I had what is known as a spontaneous Kundalini awakening. And if you're not familiar with what that term is, Kundalini energy is an energy that normally lies dormant at the base of our spine. And in some people, it is awakened, and like people who practice yoga and, or yogis, they work at bringing that Kundalini slowly up the spine. And when we bring that all the way up, to the crown, it causes one to enlighten and to grow in awareness. And, that is what happened to me. It just shot up my spine. Then I had no idea what it was. And in all honesty, it scared me. I started having all of these physical sensations. I was having like burning on my back. I was having tingling on my back. I actually was beginning to question my sanity. I went to go see a neurologist because I thought something was really wrong. I saw every doctor under the sun. Nobody could find anything that was wrong with me. And yet, in the same breath, during that awakening, when it happened, I felt such peace and such bliss and such love. I mean, the love is what just overwhelmed me. But it didn't last. And after that went away, I wanted that back. And anything that wasn't that, it just became heartbreaking to me. And I began to have all of these changes in my life and changes in awareness. And slowly but surely, like layers of an onion, my life just started getting peeled away from me. Anything that wasn't serving my highest good at that time started to shed. My marriage began to crumble. I lost a lot of friendships. And I don't want to say that I lost those friendships because of anything my friends did. I lost the friendships because of the changes that were going on with me. My marriage changed because of what was going on within me. And at the time, I didn't understand. I just literally felt crazy. And I felt like, why is this happening to me? Why did I see such bliss and such love? And now where did it go? And now why is my entire life literally just falling apart? And it took a long time. In all honesty, I feel like I started to be guided. I know I was guided on this journey, and I began to learn things that helped me to heal. When I was going to them, I thought I was just learning more skills. I went to Qi Gong training and I got certified in Qi Gong. And then I went to sound healing training and I got certified in sound healing. All the while, each one of these steps was bringing healing to myself. And as I look back now and the changes that it brought into my life, I'm just so incredibly grateful. And, so I continued on and I studied what is called Trividya Tantra. And then I also went and learned Reiki. And, I learned all these amazing, valuable healing tools. And I gained all of this wisdom. And then when I started to really, absorb all of this, I was still struggling emotionally. So much so. I would say I hit rock bottom. One of my rock bottom moments was when I was, fighting with somebody via text on my phone. And I was so lost in the emotion. I was running a bath and I'm fighting on the text and I'm standing right there next to the bathtub, mind you. And I got so lost in the moment that the bathtub began to overflow. I was on a rug, so I didn't even realize right away that the water was spilling all over the place. What jarred me into the present moment again was my children downstairs screaming. Mom, there's water everywhere. And I literally, I turned off the bathtub. I like threw my phone down. I ran downstairs and I saw water like was literally pouring down to my family room. And then my son was in the basement. Mom, it's pouring down here. I ran down to the basement. The water was pouring down to the basement. And, they say water is often represented spiritually in emotions as well. So that water pouring down everywhere, at that point, my children were looking at me and I could see the fear in their eyes and I could see the worry in their eyes. They're like, what's happening to our mom, And it was just one of those moments where I was so upset. I, cleaned up the mess and I went in my room and I literally lay down on the floor and I was crying and I was praying to God to please help me. Why am I still going through so much struggle and so much challenge? In the next part of my journey, it brought me to learning Shaktipat meditation and self-realization. And this was the part of the journey where it was very challenging for me because it made me become very aware of all of the emotions that I was dealing with and how I was not present in the moment at all. I was very rarely present in my body. I was so caught up in emotion and anxiety and struggling that, in all honesty, I don't know if my spirit ever felt safe to come down into this physical form. But as I truly began this process and this journey of self-awareness, and it was probably a good 3-year journey, at one point, things just started to click. Like I finally looked at myself and I could see the changes that had come. I was truly living peacefully. It was really an interesting moment where I realized it. I went to one of my friend's daughter's bat mitzvah. And I wasn't raised Jewish, but all of my friends growing up were Jewish. So I would go to a lot of these services. And sometimes, when you go to the really strict bat mitzvah services, they last for like 3 hours. And I used to dread having to go sit through the 3-hour service. Mostly everybody does. That's not saying much. And I went into that service and I just sat down and I had found such a place of peace and such, grace and being able to sit and just be present. And my girlfriend looked at me and she's like, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "Oh my God." She's like, "You're good." She's like, "You're really good." And I'm like, "You know what? I'm great." I really am. She's like, "Wow, we've got to talk." And it was like one of those moments, but it was like, one of those aha moments was like, wow, I finally made it. I made it through the eye of the hurricane. And now I'm on the other side. And that bliss and that love and that peace that I felt when I had that initial awakening, I was now living it. I was living it in every moment because I learned to become present. And throughout all those years of learning all those healing techniques, I was actually healing myself.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And
yeah, that's so beautiful.
It's truly just heavenly for me. And I know now it is my passion and it is my purpose to share all that I have learned with whoever comes in my path. And I'm so very honored because, this timing and coming here with you ladies is, and whoever is going to be listening on Facebook and, I know my work right now is going to focus with women, but truly it's open to men as well, because I'm focusing on, I believe through all of my learnings, when we look at what's happening in our world right now, and we see how out of balance it is. And we are so heavily weighed in the masculine energy. And that is where, a lot of the war and the heaviness and all this is happening. And it is time to balance now. It's time for the divine feminine energy to rise and bring balance. It is time for the divine feminine to truly step into her power. And as you learn all these techniques that I've been studying, you can fully step into your power, and not in the power that we see now in this world. I'm talking a feminine power, you know, and that to me is why I'm here. And when we work with Kundalini Shakti, it brings forth transformation and ultimately peace and union with all that is. And that divine feminine energy is inside each of us, whether it's male or female. We all need to work with balancing our masculine and feminine energies inside each of us. And what I would love to do today is just to take some of the gems of what I have learned and share them with each of you, and just going through a little bit of a practice. And I'm going to be pulling in pieces of Qi Gong. I'm going to be pulling in a little bit of movement while we're sitting from like Kundalini dance. I'm going to be pulling in some breathing techniques and kind of weaving it all together for us. Does that sound good for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, before Michelle shares, I think a lot of the points, what she had said, like resonates with us, right? We talk about people pleaser. You know, how many of us forget about us? And all of us in this group, we have shared about self-care. And, you know, it's so important, how important that is. And then I really love your example about not being present, right? Not being present, and your realization of how the power of being present can influence all of us. And the third point, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it's gold. Being present is
being
gold.
present. And then the third point, you know, before we get into the good stuff, Michelle spoke about her journey of 3 years. And all of us, when we started our personal growth journey, you know, we have realized that we have highs, right? You know, when you experience that high, and then, you know, we are down and we are like, oh no, you know, like I'm on my personal growth journey, right? I mean, I should have mastered it. So I just want all of us to be aware that as we are learning, like Michelle is saying that, you know, she went and learned all this tool, and in the process, she healed herself because she thought she's learning, right? A new technique, a new tool. But every time we learn, we practice something, we are healing something, some part of our body. And I really like resonated that with you, because even today I had an experience on tapping, and I realized like, oh wow, I have so much more healing to do within myself. So every time we have an experience, we are going to be healing ourselves. So yeah, thank you, Michelle. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to you so that you can share more, you know, more of your gift sharing to us.
Wonderful, wonderful. And, you know, and I do want to also make it clear that my journey, the healing aspects of my journey, it's been 10 years. 10 years,
Okay.
10 years of intense study. 10 years of intense study and transformation, and the self-awareness aspect has been happening for about 5 years now. And, you know, I also want to say that, and bring this to point, that time is an illusion. And just because it took me that amount of time does not mean that it will take another that amount of time. Yeah. I think I had a lot I needed to let go of and learn along the journey. So, you know, what I would like to do right now is that I would like to invite each of you, you know, to sit comfortably. If you are comfortable to sit cross-legged, feel free. If you're in a chair, go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable position. We're going to be moving a little bit, so just so you have a little space to move. And when we are doing the meditation aspect, I'm going to ask that you do the straightest spine that you can, because our spines are antennas, and that is also the way the energy works its way up our spine. And I first always like to say this, that, you know, we are each sovereign beings. So if I say something, that doesn't sound like it's going to resonate or doesn't feel like it resonates with you, stick with what feels good to you. Sometimes we feel a little bit of resistance and we just need to go a little bit beyond that to push us into a new space. And if it's just the resistance, then I ask you to just please open up your mind and open up your heart and open up your space and just allow this energy and allow these practices to flow within you. So I'm actually going to, since we're all in position, I would like to start a little bit of music for us. Here we go. So I'm going to invite you all just to first take in a couple of deep breaths through your nose, and then we're going to exhale through our mouths. And please feel free, if you'd like, to sigh that out. As we sigh, the point of the sigh is with release. We're releasing what isn't serving us. Inhale again and sigh it out. Now we're going to reach our hands up, and if you notice my palms are facing upwards, we're going to reach those up above our heads with our palms upward. And what we're doing right now is we are collecting energy from the heavens, from the sun, from the sky. Let it fill your palms. And then we're going to take in a deep breath here while our hands are up. And then as we exhale, we're going to turn our palms downwards towards us and bring them down. Now we're bringing down the heavens. And then you can face your hands towards you, so you're bringing the heavens down to your body. And then just sit with that in presence for a moment. And now we'll take another inhale. We'll bring our hands up to the heavens again. Let's collect all that beautiful energy from the heavens. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the heavens on down again to all of us. We can all use a little bit more heaven. And then one more time, hands up to the heavens. Collect that energy. And go ahead and bring that energy back down again. And now I'm just going to take my hands and I'm going to put my palms onto my knees. Even if you're sitting in your chair, that's okay. And while you rest your palms on your knees, it's kind of how you're going to support your body. We're going to begin to circle our body. And we're going to circle clockwise. So we're going to go forward and then to the right. And then to the back. And then to the left. And then to the front. And now I'd like you to fully allow your body to really feel every aspect of that circling. And take in some deep breaths as you're doing this. In through the nose and either out through the nose or the mouth, whichever is comfortable. When we exhale through the mouth, we're releasing. When we keep the breath in through the nose and out through the nose, we're building energy. Just a couple more circles. And now we're going to come back to center. And just lightly close your eyes and bring awareness to your body. Notice how you're feeling. If there's tension anywhere, just take note of where you're feeling it. And now I'm going to ask you to just let your arms lay loosely along your sides. And we're going to start to shake our arms a little bit. Releasing any of that tension that's in us. Just let it all go. Go ahead and shake it out. When we allow it to release from our sound through our mouth, it's very powerful as well. And then you can just bring yourself back to center and rest your palms face up on your knees. And you can close your eyes And just observe your body again. Notice how you're feeling. Are you feeling some energy flowing, some tingles? Just allow whatever is to be. And continue to focus your breath in and out. Try to fill your belly. And as we begin to meditate in this state right now, I would like if you could lightly glance at the point between your eyebrows, your third eye. My guru has taught me when we gaze at this point between our eyebrows, it's like turning on a switch to meditation. And it has been one of the most powerful tools that I have learned in truly allowing myself to get into a fully meditative state. So while I'm talking, you can just focus on my voice and my words and allow yourself to be meditated. Lightly focus at your third eye, breathing in, breathing out. If you need to sigh it out, feel free. The first thing that I would like to bring forward is gratitude. Gratitude is so very important. As we bring forth gratitude and we practice gratitude on a daily basis, we begin to create new neural pathways in our brain. And meditation and gratitude are very similar in this way. So both are such a beautiful practice to have daily. So I would like each of you to find something, whatever is the first thing that comes to your, mind space and heart space that you're feeling grateful for. And instead of just thinking of it, let's bring it down into our heart and let's really feel it from our heart space. So, for example, I will bring in the thought of sunshine. Here in Ohio, we don't get as much sunshine as I would like. Thank goodness in the summer months we get a little bit more, but during the winter, which our winters seem to go for a while, we can get a lot of gray days. So my gratitude for the sunshine looks something like this. The skies look so beautiful, but my body, how it feels when those golden rays hit down on my skin and they warm every part of my being. And as the sun hits the grass and the trees, it creates a beautiful sparkle in life. When we bring awareness to our gratitude in this way, it becomes so very powerful. And I'd like for each of you, as I continue talking, to find that space inside of you and take a few minutes now to allow that feeling of gratitude for yourself. To really feel it. To really allow your body to come into a state of gratitude. So as we meditate, what we're doing is we are slowly drawing up the Kundalini energy that is normally dormant at the base of our spine by just focusing at that point between our eyebrows. By just focusing at the third eye, we are inviting Kundalini Shakti to begin to fully awaken our awareness and to fully enlighten us. So we are truly inviting the divine feminine inside each of us to rise. Allow her to rise with grace and with ease. Allow her to come in, invite her in. I often like to use prayer when I am working with this energy. And I like to pray to, Gaia Sophia. Gaia Sophia, please come in and spark my energy, spark my light. Bring your beautiful light up inside of me. And as we, ask for that light to come in. She comes in and the energy does come into us. And just as before, when we were bringing down the heavens, bringing down the Father energy, now we are calling up the Divine Mother energy. And the beauty of what I have learned on this path is as we bring the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine in, Divine Masculine in through our crown, Divine Feminine in through our root, we allow them to meet at our heart and our solar plexus. And there where they meet, the union can happen inside of us. We are inviting the sacred union of the balancing of our masculine and feminine energies inside of us to bring forth our inner harmony, our inner peace. There's one beautiful mantra that I wanted to share with all of you ladies. And this mantra is really calling forth that divine feminine energy inside of us. And the mantra is Om Aim Hreem Kreem Chamundaye Vishe Swaha. Om Aim Hreem Kreem Chamundaye Vishe Swaha. Om Aim Hreem Kreem Chamundaye Vishe Swaha. Aim is a seed syllable that represents the creativity through language. And Hreem is the mantra that gives birth to the worlds, and it holds them in the goddesses of embrace. And Kleem is the ultimate sound of pleasure and attraction. And Chamundaye is the name for Kali as the destroyer of all demonic forces and negativity. Vishay means to cut away our bondage to those realities and thoughts and habits which keeps us stuck in the small self, and it brings liberation for us. And Swaha is the sound of the inner surrender to the divine. So for a few more times, I would like to repeat that mantra for all of us. Om Aim Hreem Kreem Chamundaye Vishe Swaha. Om Aim Hreem Kreem Chamundaye Vishe Swaha. Om Aim Hreem Kreem Chamundaye Vishe Swaha. And as we start to bring our meditation to a close, I would like to ask each of you to bring forth an intention, because the power of intention is so magical. When we couple what we would like to bring forward with intention, and then we're going to add frequency with the crystal bowl sounds, when we bring all that together, it's very powerful in bringing forward. And my intention for this space, as always, is for each of us to find our inner peace. And again, so that we can bring forth world peace. And my intention is in raising the divine feminine energy in each and every one of us. May all beings be happy and free. Feel free to bring forth your intention into your heart space and allow the beautiful healing sounds of these crystal bowls to crystallize your intention. Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu May all beings be happy and free. May the whole world live in happiness and peace. I offer peace and blessings for all of us, to your family, to your children, to your community. May we all find beautiful, pure peace, happiness, and bliss. Feel free to close with an Om with me. I'm going to make the sound of one single Om. Very gently begin to allow yourself to stay fully present and open your eyes to this beautiful present moment. Allow yourself to just feel that peace and bliss overflowing from your heart space. Such an honor to share with each of you. Thank you so very much. I'm actually offering, I think Monica has the link where there are 3 free mini meditations that I have made on video that I'd like to share with everyone who is interested. And thank you again so much. It was such an honor to be here with you all.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's superb. So yeah, I'm definitely going to bring up Michelle's website and the Facebook group so that, if you like the experience today, you can follow her. So we have some time where we can have the opportunity to ask question to Michelle. But before anyone does, I have to request Michelle on, I don't know if you can speak a little bit about your crystal ball. And, as I have been following you, I know you have different kind. And I specifically love the grandmother crystal ball you have.
Oh, yes.
Is it there? Can you play a little bit of that? I love that. And when you played that, for me, I have a great love and connection with my grandmother. And I replayed actually that live video a couple of times because I was like, oh my God, the sound is so good. And I wanted to share with our high achiever group here. So if you would play a little bit of that sound, that'll be awesome.
Yes, I'd be happy to. So this is the grandmother bowl. And when I first received her, because when I received my bowls, I received like what they're titled and what their energy is supposed to bring. And this bowl is supposed to feel like being hugged by your grandmother. So it's so beautiful because both of my grandmothers are in spirit, and I love thinking of them and bringing them in this way. Hoping the sound is picking up okay. Sometimes it's hard in these types of things like virtual meetings, but the sound is just so magical and beautiful. So this one was the grandmother bowl. And we also have, this one is the divine feminine bowl. Then this one is Happy Buddha.
Oh, okay.
These are the energies that I brought forth for us tonight as I was playing the bowls. I did bring one other, and that's because it's so important. This one is for our root chakra, for grounding, and grounding in, allowing this divine feminine energy to come up within us and bringing down the energy from the heavens and allowing the alchemy of those two energies to truly ground inside each of us. Because, from what I've experienced and what I've seen, that's where we find our inner peace, and it's really what we're needing, in today's world, because there's so much that is trying to knock us off our center right now.
Yeah.
And we need all the tools we can so that we can stay centered and strong and peaceful and not allow these things to knock us off our center. And, I really feel like it's up to the women now. It's time for the women to rise. It's time for the women to shine their lights. It's time for the women to share their magic. And it's time for the women to gather in community and circle. And as I sit here and say that to each of you, I am also going to say that I also see that part of the divine feminine in the men. And I do feel like a lot of my work as well is going to be helping men to allow that divine feminine energy inside of them. But it's going to take all of us women to do that work together. And that is really my purpose and my passion, is getting that, out to the world and allowing us each to be able to find that bliss. And, that is why I'm here. That is why I'm doing this. That is why I know I was divinely led on this path. And I am so excited to now be sharing, this wisdom and these practices and helping others to find a sense of peace. And I look forward to being able to share with you more. I'm just starting out and growing, and I'm very excited. And I'm so grateful to be here. And, Monica, it's such an honor to be here. I mean, you're doing such beautiful work, for your hometown in Manipur, and then also what you're doing for the people of the world. I mean, it's just, you're awe-inspiring to me. And I am very humbled and very grateful, to be here. And thank you so much. I love your gratitude project, and I love the way you're looking to empower women. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So, the gratitude project, I am very grateful that in the meditation today, you spoke about that and addressed it, right? So that emphasize how important it is that we practice it every day, because that truly is going to elevate us from that space, right?
Right.
So with that, I'm going to open up for questions.
It's our nature. We're always going to want to help others. It's who we are. It's the nurturers in us. What's important is bringing balance to that. It's like when we get on the airplane and they tell you, if something happens and the oxygen mask comes down, you got to put your own oxygen mask on before you help others. And that's the way that I look at it for all of us in life and what we do. We need to allow ourselves the time to nurture ourselves and love ourselves and give ourselves the self-care so we can truly fill our cup. Because, what I was doing and what I was, referencing is that I was just giving and giving and giving, and my cup ran empty. And I didn't take care of myself. I wasn't filling it back up. And that's why I feel like it's so important and part of my message to make sure, that all the people that I speak with, men and women, we all need to fill our cups. You can give more from a full cup. But thank you for the question, because it's so very important. And sometimes it's so hard for us to have that awareness about ourselves. And we really need to see that, and that's the other thing that is also so important in seeing that. We also need to celebrate ourselves, celebrate your accomplishments.
Yes.
Do so much every day that we should be like, oh, good job.
Yes.
No, we lay in bed at night and we're like, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't. We focus more on what we didn't do. And that's where the gratitude comes back in. So very important, to focus on the gratitude, focus on being grateful, focus on the celebrations, and as far as the law of attraction, what we put out there does come back. And I do believe in that, fully. And I think that is so important, and I wish I could be I wish I would have learned earlier to be kinder to myself, but like as it is, we all learn perfectly on our path, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
more people I could share that with, see your beauty, see your beauty, see your love. You're also beautiful and you're also full with love and light, and let yourself shine. And it's also one of those things that you do want to be very careful with. So if you were like when we go to sleep at night, or if you've ever noticed like when babies or children go to sleep at night, their eyes begin to go back. Like if they're not fully shut, you could see how their eyes go back a little bit. Well, so when we're focusing at our third eye, it's like this point right here. If you close your eyes, but yet very lightly still allow your eyeballs to gaze at that point, and I want to emphasize lightly, because you don't want to create strain in your eyes. But when we very lightly, with our eyes closed, allow, visually like go to this point, it truly does allow that energy to come up. And the more that you practice it, it truly is like a switch to meditation. And there's another quote that I've been taught, during all of my journey with self-awareness. And it was, any time that you are not experiencing happiness and peace, it only is to serve as a reminder to check back in. And that checking back in, to me, always means turning on that light switch again, getting yourself into a meditative state. And that's actually a beautiful awareness as well. I do believe in meditating every day. And I say minimum 30 minutes, but some people have to work themselves up to that, which is just fine. I actually try to meditate for at least an hour in the morning, and then I do like a half hour in the evening. And we can build ourselves up to that point. But the more that we do that, the more in flow we are, the more in alignment we are. And the more we're practicing, focusing at that point of our third eye, you will really, the second you do it, even if you were like let's say you're in the midst of something with, if you have young children and you're about ready to pull your hair out because somebody needs this and somebody needs that, and you're feeling pulled in all different directions, take 2 minutes, sit down quietly, look at your third eye, take that few minutes and watch how it centers you. Watch how it brings you to balance. It's amazing. And the more we practice at it, the quicker it happens. And it helps us to become more conscious. And that is truly where my stand is. I am here, and to focus all my effort I can to creating a more conscious planet. And the way to become more conscious is to meditate. I believe that 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I started meditating and I start my day with meditation in the morning. And now what I'm realizing is some days when I miss it, I actually feel that absence. I feel like, oh, my body needs that. And so, like Michelle said, then, taking the time to have your time out, your space, and grounding yourself and having that moment. So, yeah.
And a lot of people want to say, I don't have the time to do that. And I want to literally reprogram your mind in this thought. I don't think we have the time not to do it. Because when we do it, everything about our day flows better. When we don't do it, like Monica just said, you really see the difference. So I really encourage everybody, to do your best to start to create a practice. Your schedule, your time, your flow, your family, yourself, everything will thank you. The universe will thank you.
Beautiful.
It is the awareness, and it's definitely the dot. So like, for example, like when the bindi, when I was in India, when you receive sometimes third eye activations, they will put, like the red, it's not necessarily the pretty little dot you always see, but actually like a smudge on your forehead, on your third eye. And it truly is to remind you to look at that. Our pineal gland is actually, so the best way that it's been explained to me that I can explain to you, if we were to take a line between our ears, okay, and we find that center point right between our ears, And then we also take that point between like our third eye here and the spot here behind the back of the head. Where those 4 points meet is actually where our pineal gland is in the center of the head. And as we're meditating and we're focusing on that point of the third eye, what we're doing is we're calling up that energy. The Shakti, the divine feminine energy, we're calling her up from the root of our spine to go up here to the third eye and then finally to the crown. And as we're calling up that energy, you know, I'm not sure if you're familiar, like with the medical symbol, you know, where you have like the staff and then you have the two serpents that are going up around, and then it shows like the wings on the side. Well, that is very symbolic of the Kundalini energy rising, because it's normally dormant at the base of our spine. But when we work with that energy and we bring it up, it goes, intertwines through all of our chakras and comes all the way up to the crown. And as that energy climbs up, and especially you never want to force Kundalini energy. You always want to work with it gradually to come up. And as that energy begins to come up, we are literally growing the light inside of us. So like when I'm like, put that spark of divinity, put that spark of flame back inside of you. It literally is a light like at the base of our spine, and we are igniting it. So we're bringing that light up inside of us, and we're calling it up and calling it all the way up to the crown. So like when we would see images like of, you know, Christ or others that would show that halo that's golden around the head, that is actually because they brought their energy up and they got that halo energy from enlightening and bringing that energy all the way up to the crown. And that's what the whole third eye, focusing there, allows that to happen.
Yeah,
I hope
thank
that
you.
answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. You know, like when I met Michelle and Michelle was talking about this, I was like, wow, I'm from India, right? And how I am not very thorough of the knowledge. And I was very excited to see how, like in the Western world, right, the concepts of the Eastern is being learned, and you know, for peace, for consciousness, for bringing up our awareness. So that was one thing I was like, wow, you know. Michelle is talking about all mantras and Kundalini, which I'm like, yeah, I've heard about it, but you know, I don't really know what's happening. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
Here's the thing, like when this energy awakens in us and it starts to bring forth the changes, a lot of people don't like change. And a lot of people resist it, even when that change is really good for you. I mean, I did have a lot of bad habits I had to let go of. You know, I used to smoke cigarettes and I would drink, and, you know, not that those are bad, but, you know, on this type of yogic path, I have found myself into a very sober state. And I'm very grateful for that, because the purification has done wonders for me. But to get back to where your question was, as all of these things were happening and changing, I had some serious rock bottom moments. I mean, like I told you about the one where I was fighting texting on the phone. And the way I like to look at it is like, I had, you know, a spontaneous awakening. So it shot right up my spine. It doesn't always happen. It's not always the easiest things or ways for it to happen. I think it happened to me that way because it is my purpose to come and share and teach this wisdom and to help others to slowly bring the energy up. But when this was happening, it was like I was on a whitewater raft, and if I didn't let go of something, it would be like I was holding onto a branch and I was getting all banged up. So you kind of have to let go of what isn't serving you. When the universe begins to show you, you need to let go. You really need to let go, or you're going to get all banged up. And I had to get banged up a lot. I kind of fought it a lot. And even the changes, you know, that did come, like where, you know, initially a lot of my friends were like, oh man, she went off the deep end. You know what I mean? Like, what happened to her? But everything does come full circle, and those that are meant to be in my life are still in my life. and they have like seen like a whole, you know, because they saw me go through all of it. You know what I mean? They saw me before it happened. They saw me when it happened. They saw me hit rock bottom. Then they're like, oh God, she's doing all this crazy stuff. Now she's traveling to India and Indonesia, and she's speaking different, you know, vocabulary from what they know. And, you know, some of them drifted away, but those that are meant to come back, they do. So my advice to you is, as these changes are happening in your world, don't hang on to the branch and get beat up. Let it go, let things flow. And just like, you know, that expression, if you love something, set it free. If it returns, love it forever.
Yeah, no, lovely. I wrote this down. Let go, right? Let it go. Let go of the things what is not serving you.
Exactly.
What is not serving you? I think that's the key word, right?
Yes, yes. What is not serving you? And sometimes we're going to disagree with that. And that's when we're out of that branch and we're getting banged around. You know?
Right. I love that analogy. Lovely.
So
I'm going to share my screen and let me share Michelle's page. So just give me a moment.
I'm just going to do a little sound while you're doing that.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so this is the Facebook page of Michelle. As you can see, it's a private group, and you know, there are live session which I really enjoy. So Michelle, thank you so much for putting that out to the world with the sound healing. I have always loved, you know, the sound of bells, temple, church, and this was something new. I didn't even know about, you know, crystal ball. I have seen crystal, but I really, it was something new for me. So thank you for that. So yeah, you know, feel free to join in. There are a lot of challenges, like gratitude was one thing which I was like, wow, so I'm not like that crazy, you know, thinking about my 1001 Thagachari. Thagachari in Maithelol, which is my native language, means thank you. So that is a project which I have been doing. So that is the group you can look up. And here, this is Michelle's website, michellesophia360.com. And, you know, as she has mentioned, she is so kind enough to offer 3 complimentary meditations. So do go to her website, sign it up. And, you know, today the experience we had for the meditation was truly different, Michelle. I have done a lot of meditation, but I have really never done that body movement. And I'm, you know, myself very, very interested to learn and experience more of that. Because I have done, yeah, really guided, but that was like very interesting. And I know we are out of time to talk about that, but yeah, would really want to understand more on what does that movement mean? What does it do? And
have to go on retreat together.
Yeah. All right. So with that, we are at a closer for today's session. Really, thank you so much, Michelle, for coming. And, you know, I know that it is late for you, but accommodating our time so that we can have this interaction and sharing your gift to us.
Thank you. So honored. Thank you so much. I so appreciate the time and the space and to share this with everybody.
All right, so let's end again with another round of clap for Michelle and all of you, like for getting up early and, you know, being a part of this. I know that we are all on a journey, and, you know, we are in a safe space, and we all can learn and we can do it, right?
Right. We're all connected. We're all energy. We're all connected together.
Yeah.
You're never alone in your pure love and joy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Much love.
Love you.